The church doors swung open with a creak that echoed through the empty nave. And there I stood, Emily Harper, in a gown that felt like a second skin, until it didn't. The lace bodice clung to me, but not in the way it was meant to. Patches of it were singed, blackened edges curling like forgotten promises. I had discovered it just hours before, tucked into a velvet box delivered anonymously to my doorstep in suburban Chicago. No note, just the ruin of what was supposed to be my perfect day. My fiancé, Jack, was still at the venue, finalizing the string quartet, oblivious to the storm brewing in my chest. I stared at the mirror, the reflection showing a woman whose eyes burned brighter than the fabric. This wasn't an accident. This was deliberate, a message from the shadows of my own bloodline. I gripped the edges of the sink, knuckles white, as flashbacks hit like rain on a tin roof. My parents, Richard and Elaine Harper, had always been the picture of Midwestern propriety, country club memberships, charity galas, the works. But beneath the polished surface, there were cracks I'd learned to navigate like a minefield. Growing up in their sprawling home in Naperville, I'd been the dutiful daughter. Straight A's. Volunteer hours stacked like trophies. Yet, they missed my high school graduation for a spontaneous golf trip to Florida. Life's about balance, Dad had said over the phone, his voice muffled by ocean waves. Mom chimed in. We'll celebrate when we get back. They didn't. Not really. A belated card with a check inside, as if money could fill the empty seat at the dinner table. Now, with my wedding to Jack looming, a man who'd seen through my guarded heart and loved the mess anyway, the dress I'd chosen with such care, fitted in a boutique in downtown Chicago, now bore scorch marks that smelled faintly of iron and spite. I traced the damage with my finger. It was precise, almost artistic in its cruelty. Who else knew where I'd stored it? Who had access? My mind raced to my sister, Vanessa, younger by 3 years. She'd always been the golden child, prettier, more sociable, the one who landed the high-profile marketing job in New York right out of college. We'd been close once, or so I thought, until jealousy seeped in like ink on paper. The phone buzzed on the counter, jolting me. It was Mom. Emily. Darling. Just checking in. We're at the airport. Airport? My heart sank. What do you mean? The rehearsal dinner is tonight. A pause. Then her laugh. Light and artificial. Oh. Sweetie. Didn't we tell you? Your father and I booked a quick getaway to the Bahamas. Weddings are so hectic. We need a breather. I could hear the boarding call in the background. But you're my parents. You're supposed to walk me down the aisle. Dad's voice cut in. Gruff. We've supported you your whole life. Eminencia. Time for us now. Vanessa can handle things. Click. The line went dead, leaving me with the echo of their indifference. I sank to the floor, the ruined dress pooling around me like a defeated dream. Support? They'd supported me by criticizing every choice, my nonprofit job helping at-risk youth in the city, my decision to live in a modest apartment instead of their gated community. Jack was nice enough, but not the lawyer or banker they'd envisioned. And Vanessa? She'd been posting cryptic Instagram stories lately, selfies in white dresses, captions like, "What if the story isn't yours to tell?" I scrolled through them now, my thumb trembling. One showed her trying on veils, winking at the camera. Practice makes perfect. By the time Jack got home, I'd composed myself enough to hide the dress in the closet. He wrapped his arms around me, smelling of fresh coffee and optimism. Everything set for tomorrow? I nodded, forcing a smile. Almost. But inside, the slow burn began, the damming up of emotions, the pressure building like a storm front over Lake Michigan. That night, as we lay in bed, I stared at the ceiling, piecing it together. The box had arrived via courier. No sender listed. The burns were fresh. And Vanessa had visited last week. Just to help with planning. Help.
Right.
The rehearsal dinner was a blur of forced toasts and awkward hugs from Jack's family, who filled the room with genuine warmth. His parents, Tom and Linda, pulled me aside. "We're so excited to welcome you," Linda said, her eyes kind. I envied that family that showed up without conditions. As the evening wound down, my phone lit up with a text from Vanessa. "Heard Mom and Dad bailed. Need me to step in?"
Step in.
The words twisted like a knife. I didn't reply. Instead, I drove home alone, the city lights blurring through unshed tears. Back in the apartment, I pulled out the dress again, examining it under the lamp. Hidden in the lining was a small tag, embroidered with our family crest, a relic from Mom's side. This wasn't random. This was inheritance turned weapon. Morning came too soon, the wedding day dawning crisp and clear. I called a seamstress friend, begging for a miracle. She patched what she could, but the scars remained, faint but visible. "Who did this?" she asked. I shook my head. Family. Jack arrived, handsome in his tux, but his face fell when he saw the gown.
Ink.
What happened? I told him everything, the trip, the box, the suspicions.
His jaw tightened.
"We can postpone." "No," I said, voice steadying. "They don't get to ruin this." We drove to the church in silence, the weight of unspoken words heavy between us. As guests arrived, whispers rippled. "Where are her parents?" Something about a vacation. Vanessa showed up late, in a dress that screamed bridesmaid but flirted with bridal, ivory silk, too close for comfort. The ceremony began, the organ swelling. Jack's father walked me down the aisle, his arms solid and reassuring. I felt the eyes on me, the pity mixed with curiosity. At the altar, Jack's vows were heartfelt, promising to build a life free of shadows. Mine? I improvised, my voice cracking at first, then gaining strength. I promised to choose love over legacy, truth over tradition. We kissed, the applause thunderous. But as we turned to face the crowd, I caught Vanessa's expression, smug, almost triumphant. The reception followed in a rented hall overlooking the lake, fairy lights twinkling like distant hopes. Toasts flowed, but mine was pointed. "To those who show up," I said, raising my glass. "And to those who don't, may they find what they're searching for elsewhere." Halfway through the night, a server approached with a wrapped gift. "From your sister." I opened it in a quiet corner, Jack by my side. Inside, a faded nightgown, yellowed with age, Mom's from after her own divorce. A symbol of her bitterness. A card read, "History repeats. Wear it wisely." I crumpled it, the dam breaking. Tears came hot and fast. Jack held me. "This ends now." We left early, the party continuing without us. Back home, I changed out of the dress, folding it carefully. Evidence. Tomorrow, I'd confront them. But for tonight, the explosion simmered, the raw ache of betrayal, the fire that would forge something new. The days after the wedding blurred into a haze of unpacked suitcases and unanswered questions. Jack and I had skipped the honeymoon, too raw, too exposed. Instead, we holed up in our apartment, ordering takeout from our favorite Thai place in Wicker Park, trying to reclaim normalcy. But the nightgown haunted me, stuffed in a drawer like a bad memory. "We need to talk to them," Jack said one evening, stirring his pad CEW. I nodded, but dread coiled in my stomach. My parents had returned from the Bahamas tanned and unapologetic, posting beach selfies with captions like, "Recharging the soul." No mention of the wedding. Vanessa, meanwhile, had gone radio silent after her gift. I scheduled a family dinner at their house in Naperville, the same colonial where I'd grown up dodging emotional landmines. The drive out felt eternal. Chicago's skyline shrinking in the rearview. Jack squeezed my hand. "We're in this together." We arrived to the scent of roast chicken, Mom's go-to for important talks. Dad greeted us at the door. His handshake firm, but eyes averted. Vanessa was already there, perched on the couch like a queen in exile,
her phone in hand.
"Glad you could make it," she said. Smile saccharine. We sat around the dining table, the crystal glasses clinking awkwardly. I cut to the chase. "Why did you skip the wedding? And the dress, who burned it?" Mom's fork paused midair. "Burned? Darling, that's dramatic." Dad cleared his throat. "We needed a break."
Eminencia.
"Weddings are stressful." Vanessa chimed in. "And honestly, with your history, we thought it might not last." My history? The failed engagement in college. The one they'd mocked endlessly. "You sabotaged my dress," I accused, staring at Vanessa. She laughed. "Me? I was in New York." But her eyes flickered. The argument escalated, voices rising like a crescendo in a symphony of denial. Mom deflected. "We've given you everything. A good education. Connections."
Dad added.
"You're too sensitive." Vanessa smirked. "Some people aren't cut out for the spotlight." I exploded then, the pent-up fury unleashing. "You didn't just miss it. You tried to erase it. The nightgown. The burns, it's all you." They denied. Gaslit. Twisted. We left in a storm. Doors slamming. Back home, I paced, adrenaline surging. "They're toxic," Jack said. We cut ties. But it wasn't that simple. The next morning, an email pinged from the family lawyer. Subject: Trust Amendment Notification. I opened it.
Heart pounding.
The Harper Family Trust set up by my grandparents had been altered. My share, earmarked for future stability, was reduced to a pittance. Vanessa's portion ballooned. "Recent changes reflect demonstrated responsibility," it read. Demonstrated? I'd built a career helping others. She chased influencers. Jack read over my shoulder. "This is fraud." We hired our own attorney, Sarah Klein, a sharp woman from a Loop firm. "We'll dig," she promised. Discovery revealed emails. Mom to Vanessa. "Emily's choices disqualify her." Dad's notes. "Redirect funds to reliable heir." And a bombshell. Vanessa had applied for a wedding grant from a bridal foundation, listing herself as the bride, using my venue details. The pressure built. Slow and insidious. Vanessa went public first, posting a tearful video. Family drama hurts, but I choose forgiveness. Comments flooded. "You're so strong." I seethed. My turn. I wrote a blog post. Anonymous at first, When Blood Betrays, a wedding story. It detailed the sabotage without names, focusing on the emotional toll. It went viral overnight, shared in support groups for estranged families. Strangers messaged, "This is my life." Jack's family rallied, his mom calling daily. "You're our daughter now." Confrontation came via Zoom, Sarah's idea. My parents appeared composed. Vanessa smug. "This is extortion," Dad blustered. "No," I said calmly. "This is accountability." We presented evidence, forged signatures on the trust docs, metadata from Vanessa's IP on the Gran app. Mom's face paled. We were protecting the legacy. Legacy? The one where they prioritized vacations over vows? Vanessa snapped. "You always played victim." The call ended in stalemate. But the dam cracked. That night, alone in the kitchen, I found an old photo album buried in a box. Pictures of me as a kid, smiling gap-toothed, with Grandma Harper, the only one who'd truly seen me. She'd passed years ago, leaving me a small inheritance they'd tried to control. Don't let them dim your light, her voice echoed in memory. I cried then, not for loss, but release. The explosion loomed, the legal battle ahead, the public unraveling. But for the first time, I felt the power in my story.
Not theirs.
The courtroom in downtown Chicago felt like a pressure cooker, the air thick with polished wood and unspoken accusations. Sarah Klein stood beside me, her briefcase a shield. Across the aisle, the Harper's lawyer, a slick man in a pinstripe suit, shuffled papers. My parents sat rigid, avoiding my gaze. Vanessa fidgeted, her designer bag a prop. Jack squeezed my hand from the gallery. This was it, the hearing on the trust fraud. Months of depositions had built to this. Emotions damming up like a river before the flood. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with wire-rimmed glasses, called order. Sarah opened. Your Honor, we present evidence of unauthorized amendments. She displayed emails, timestamps, expert analysis on forged signatures. The lawyer countered. Family disputes? Not fraud. But the proof mounted. Vanessa's wedding grant app, submitted days before my ceremony, claiming personal nuptials. The judge's brow furrowed. Mom testified first, voice quivering. We acted in Emily's best interest. Best interest? Skipping my wedding for sandy beaches? Dad followed. Gruff. She's unstable. Unstable? For demanding respect? Vanessa took the stand.
Poised.
Emily's always been jealous. Jealous? Of her curated life. Built on our parents' favoritism? Cross-exam. Sarah pressed on the dress. Did you access it? Vanessa faltered. No. But metadata showed her phone near my apartment the night before delivery. The room tensed. I testified last. Voice steady. They didn't just miss my wedding. They tried to rewrite it. I described the burns, the nightgown, the emotional scars. The judge adjourned for deliberation. Outside, reporters hovered. My blog had drawn media. No comment, I said. But inside, the build-up churned. Verdict came swift. Fraud confirmed. Trust restored. Plus damages for emotional distress. My parents' faces crumpled. Vanessa stormed out. Victory? It felt hollow. The explosion muted by exhaustion. Post-hearing, Mom approached. Emily, we can fix this. A fix? With what more manipulations? I walked away. Jack and I celebrated quietly at a lakeside diner. Burgers and shakes. Proud of you, he said. But the win unearthed more. Discovery files revealed old letters, Dad's affair. Mom's resentment projected onto me. Vanessa's emails gloated. Finally, the favorite. Healing began in fragments. I started therapy, unpacking decades of neglect. Jack's family hosted a belated reception, barbecue in their backyard. Laughter genuine. His sister toasted. To chosen bonds. I felt roots forming, not blood deep, but choice strong. Vanessa retaliated online, betrayed by blood. Her followers dwindled as truth leaked. A magazine feature followed. The Sabotaged Bride Speaks. I shared sparingly, focusing on resilience. Messages poured in. You gave me courage to leave my toxic kin. One evening, sorting mail, I found an envelope, no stamp, hand-delivered. Inside, a key to Grandma's old cabin in Wisconsin, with a note in her handwriting, for when you need your own space. Tears came. She'd foreseen this. Jack and I drove up that weekend, The woods a balm. By the fire, I burn the nightgown, watching flames consume the past. The release was cathartic, the dam bursting in sobs and stories shared. Back home, I changed my name legally, Emily Reed. Jack's surname, a fresh start. Work thrived, my nonprofit expanded, helping others escape family traps. But echoes lingered. A call from Dad. We miss you.
Miss?
Or control. I hung up. Vanessa's PR spin failed. Sponsors dropped her. Mom's social circle whispered. Justice wasn't revenge, it was freedom. As spring bloomed, I planted a garden, lavender for calm. Roses for thorns survived. The story shifted from pain to power, leaving a question. What do we owe those who raised us? When raising meant breaking, summer heat wrapped Chicago like a blanket. But inside our new home, a cozy bungalow in Lincoln Park, the air hummed with possibility. Jack and I had moved, shedding the old apartment's ghosts. The trust settlement funded the down payment. Poetic justice. I framed Grandma's note on the wall, a reminder of unseen allies. Life normalized, mornings with coffee, evenings walking the lakefront. But undercurrents pulled. Family ties don't sever cleanly. Vanessa struck next, a lawsuit for defamation, claiming my blog damaged her career. Sarah laughed. Frivolous. We countersued for harassment. Court again, but briefer. Evidence, her posts inciting trolls to my inbox. Judge dismissed, ordering no contact. Vanessa's face twisted in defeat. Post-ruling, she emailed, "You'll regret this." I forwarded to Sarah. No reply. The build-up returned. Vigilance a habit. Mom and Dad retreated to silence. But holidays loomed. Thanksgiving invites came via text. Join us. I declined. Instead, we hosted Jack's family, turkey,
Pies.
board games. Laughter filled the void. Christmas brought a card. Thinking of you. No apology. I recycled it. Therapy helped. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors you control. I wrote more. A book outline emerging. Erased vows. Reclaiming your narrative. One crisp fall day. A knock. A courier with a package. Heart racing. I opened it. Old family photos. Defaced. My face scratched out. No note. Police report filed. Fingerprints matched Vanessa. Restraining order granted. The explosion hit. Anger. But also pity. She's broken, Jack said. Doesn't excuse. We installed cameras. Life adapting. Empowerment grew. My story inspired a podcast episode. I guest spoke at estrangement support groups. Women shared. Your wedding gave me strength to elope alone. Jack and I planned a vow renewal, intimate, on the Wisconsin cabin's dock. No family, just friends. I wore a simple dress, unscarred. Vows renewed. To truth, always. Echoes faded. But a final twist, Dad's health scare. Emailed by a cousin. Heart issue. I visited the hospital. Guarded. He looked frail. Emily.
Tears.
We were wrong. Mom beside him. Silent. Vanessa absent. I listened, but boundaries held. Healing starts with actions, I said. Left with mixed feelings, the dam cracking, but not flooding. Winter brought closure. Book deal signed. The Invisible Bride. Dedication to those who walk alone and find company. As snow fell, I reflected. Betrayal forges strength. But what price piece? Spring unfurled in bursts of color, mirroring my rebirth. The book launched to acclaim. Reviews praised its raw honesty. Signings drew crowds. Your story saved me. Jack beamed. My anchor. But success stirred old waters. Vanessa's tell-all interview. The real victim. Lies twisted. I was the saboteur. Jealous. Backlash swift. Fact checks dismantled her. Sponsors fled. Her career crumbled. Mom called. End this feud. Feud? Their creation.
Apologize, I said.
Silence. Dad's recovery progressed, he wrote. Proud of you. First kindness in years. I replied cautiously. Thanks. No more. The cabin became sanctuary, weekends writing,
Gardening.
one visit. I found buried letters. Grandma's to Mom. Warning of favoritism's poison. Don't repeat my mistakes. History's cycle. Almost broken. A year post-wedding. We hosted a party, chosen family only. Toasts to resilience. Amid cheers. A thought. What if forgiveness isn't reunion, but release? Vanessa's final act, a public apology post. Scripted. Insincere. I ignored. Mom and Dad sold the house. Moved south. Distance literalized. Life bloomed. Promotion at work. Baby on the way. Ultrasound in hand. I pondered. What legacy for our child?
Truth.
Not ties. The story ends not in triumph, but quiet power, leaving us to ask, when family fails, who rebuilds you?